you're already rocking a Des Moines shirt. All right.
That's right.
Cool. Hey, how are you guys?
Good, thank you.
Excellent.
Excellent. Perfect way to be. How's the weekend been so far?
Fun?
Oh, it's been fun. Yeah, met a lot of, probably some of you, as a matter of fact. There. It's nice, you know, some of these conventions can be near the airport, or, you know, I don't know if you've gone to any around the country, but this one right in the middle of town is kind of nice. We've done a little exploring. See, I went here. I don't know if anybody's a local, but this was very well worth visiting.
Awesome. So how often do the two of you have the opportunity to be reunited at conventions to talk all things Halloween?
Pretty often.
Yeah.
Last year especially, like every weekend.
Yeah, from time to time, you know, we'll see some of the gang. One of my closest friends, Tommy Lee Wallace, who invented the mask for Halloween, he's here this time, and we're going to see him in a couple weeks in Richmond, and so that's always a treat.
Awesome. So I guess just to start, I'm curious, what was the atmosphere like on set when you guys were filming?
Okay, all right. When I was on set, and you weren't there, right? I don't remember if you were around that day or not. No. Okay. So for me, the set was very busy. They were, I think some of John's friends were there doing things, and they were trying to get the house looking nicer because they had shot all the scenes where it's kind of dilapidated. So they were trying to make it look nice, and we were using the new camera, the Panaglide, and so it was a very busy day. And we were rehearsing. Deborah and John were both kind of showing us, you know, what they wanted and staging and all that. And then I understand that we did it in 2 takes. So after a full day of all of that, then it went pretty smoothly.
And you remember that, for her scene especially, they did it all, you know, they faked it a little bit, but they all did it in one long take. You know, from outside, around the side of the building, looking in the window, and then going up the stairs. Then Deborah Hill became picked up the knife, pretending she's a little boy, and the rest is history. For me, you know, I was there for much of the shoot, and the atmosphere on the set was, you know, John and I went to film school together, so it didn't seem that much different than doing a movie for a student film, and especially since his first student film became his first feature when he lengthened it. I don't know if anybody's seen Dark Star. No applause. Yeah, a few applause.
We got a few.
Well, the rest of you, come on. You can rent it, so you can stream everything now. It's very well worth seeing, and especially if you're a John Carpenter fan, you know, you can see some of where he gets some of this humor, you know, because this one was more of a science fiction comedy, and dark comedy, but a good one. And his partner in that movie was Dan O'Bannon, who wrote Alien, the original Alien. So you see a couple of very young geniuses getting together at the University of Southern California. But getting back to the question, you know, yeah, it was like being in a glorified student film. So, but that didn't mean it wasn't professional, and with a lot of thought, and because even our student films were like that. You had to take it seriously if you wanted to get into this world of film. But on top of that, it was it was like doing a project with buddies.
Awesome. So Sandy, I wanted to ask, obviously, you had such a pivotal role in the film, and you're a huge iconic part now of horror history with that kill. So what is that like for you, knowing that you had this iconic, wonderful kill that kind of started it all?
Well, I'm very proud of that. It's very cool to be the first kill of Michael Myers, and also the only kill of the young Michael. So I'm very proud of that. I just love the fans. I'm so happy to be a part of the franchise, and I thank the horror community for making my life so joyful. So yeah, it's amazing to be Judith Myers.
Well, I guess a spin-off question of something that you just said. What is your favorite part for both of you guys being part of this wonderful horror community?
Oh gosh, it's definitely meeting with the fans. I look forward to this time of year all year. The rest of the year, you know, I do my other stuff, but I miss the fans when it's not this season, and so I really look forward to those first bookings. So I know I'm going to get to go out and see fans and go to horror cons, and it gets exciting.
It's basically the same answer. You know, it's great to meet people. Not only I've directed a bunch of movies, and some of you guys know some of them, and nice to get a little pat on the back after all these years of doing all that work. And for people that work like myself, in particular, well, even actors, in front of or beyond or behind the camera. When do you get to meet the audience? You never really get to meet the audience for movies. At least in a play, you can hear them applaud. But you don't really know until you do something like this, you know, what the impact is on people. And that's quite fun and, you know, exhilarating. And for us, I think it's meaningful because we get, you know, we did this for most of our lives, and it's good to get a response.
And Nick, what was it like for you the first time that you put on the mask and looked in the mirror?
You know, I don't remember looking in there. I must have, but it didn't have the the profound impact you would hope it would have for a nice story. So, you know, for me, it was like John said, why don't you do this? Put on the mask and walk around, and yeah, why don't you do it? And like it was very offhanded, you know. And so when I put it on, you know, I didn't do any practicing. I didn't do any looking in the mirror and figuring out how the walk should go. Whatever it was just very instinctual. So I guess it worked. So I'm happy it did.
Yeah, I would say it worked. Yeah. When was the first time that you guys had the chance to hear the iconic theme song? Was it when you saw the film for the first time, or did you hear the music beforehand?
Yeah, I don't remember. I know John had a screening for the cast and crew. I don't remember that screening at all. So maybe I was there, maybe I wasn't, but I remember going to the theater the first week it was out just to see what the reaction was going to be like, and it was really good. You know, it was a theater on Hollywood Boulevard. I think I went to a matinee. There were still a lot of people there, and people were just jumping. You know, I went, hey, that's good. I called John up afterwards, said, hey, it's working. And of course, the music is a big part of that.
When I was on set, I really didn't know the whole story. I was just there for my day to do my job, and they kind of keep storylines quiet. You know, they like to surprise people. So when I actually went to the premiere with everybody and we're watching the movie, that was the first time I heard the music. It was also the first time that I found out that my little brother who killed me had grown up to be a serial killer, and that the movie was terrifying. So that's how I heard about it.
All right, so if it's okay with you guys, let's take some questions from you. So we do have a microphone located right over there for whatever questions y'all may have. Do we have our first willing victim? Hey, you're up, friend. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Jess. So when Halloween came out, well known, became the most, at the time, it was the most profitable independent film in history, which is awesome. Made over $70 million. So how did you experience that success at the time?
Well, I didn't really experience it because I still get like $10 a year residuals. So I guess my joy from it and my reward was just having been in it and have it be a success. And of course now I love it because there are tons of fans. But at the time, it just, you know, I was just on to doing other movies and things, so it wasn't a great impact on my life right away. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost the same answer again. You know, there wasn't any immediate bump because I was there was no iconic killer yet. Yeah, it was a good movie, and people liked it, but it really did grow in interest. And actually, it's more popular, I swear, much more popular now than it was back at the day, even though it was a hit, like you said. Yeah. It made a lot of money, but it's grown, you know, it's a piece of motion picture history now. So it's a different kind of thing. I've had, so no, not much at all. I went on and worked with John, and I co-wrote a picture called Escape from New York with him. That was helpful. That, you know, just signing up again with John to do another show was always fun because we always had a good time together, and he was very. I mean, I was very fortunate to have him think of me to help mount that picture, so that was neat. But you know, like I said, the real fun and reward of that film has been in the last decade, where I don't know if some of you know Sean Clark, who does a great podcast, The Thing with Two Heads. It's great if you haven't seen it. For horror aficionados, it's a lot of fun. He called me up one day and he said, 10 years ago or so, and he said, Nick, you can come out here, meet the fans, make a few bucks, and I said, what? I had no idea what this meant. And I gave it a shot, and I absolutely loved it, and I've been doing it ever since. So that's my reward.
Thank you.
Hey, what's your name?
My name is Caleb, and my question is, after seeing how the franchise has been these recent years, in your opinion, what direction do you find the franchise going into, and what way do you think it should go into?
For me, it seems like Michael has changed a lot, and I feel attached to him as his sister. And so I think I actually liked Michael better when he didn't kill everybody. Shame. But yeah, I think for me, I really like kind of the old school, the original magic of John Carpenter when you don't need a lot of blood or a lot of kills. It was just, the first one was just so exciting to me because it really didn't need anything else. So that's kind of the way I see it going. I mean, some of that has come back a little bit. I saw some of that, I think, in 2018. So I kind of hope they go back with some of that.
Yeah, and it's a good question. I mean, that's the big question I have, and I don't know any more from a practical standpoint about what they're up to, other than the rumors that it might be a TV series, which is an odd thought. I mean, I'd have to hear how they're contemplating that. What is it, a kill a week, or who knows? And how you know, is it a continuation? Well, if it's a continuation, how did he survive? If it's not, if it goes back into the past, like where would they pick it up? It'll be fun though to see what they're doing. I know the people that own Trancas, that own the property, are well on their way to figuring something out.
What if it's like a sitcom or like a workplace comedy, you know, and like to see Michael in the workplace? That's interesting.
Yeah, Michael Myers the musical.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting. Great question.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, boy. What's your name?
Nora.
Yeah, what's your name too?
Paisley.
Hey, what's your question?
Do you think we're too young to watch Halloween?
Are they too young to watch Halloween?
Yes. Although, but if you did, you'd be in a lot of good company. There's
Yes.
a lot of people that have come up to me. One person today, I think it was, said, "Well, I was in Mom's belly when I heard, when I know I heard the tune, the song, the score." So it goes from 7 months to 90 years old, in terms of the people that I've met that have seen it for the first time. So. But, well, we'll let your parents decide on that.
When in my scene now, if you're watching it on just regular TV, I think they cut my scene. So it may be okay.
Do you guys want to see it? Or have you
Yeah.
seen? Yeah.
I'm sure.
Well, that was a really great question, guys. Thank you guys for your question.
Cute.
Oh boy. Adjusting the microphone. Hey, what's your name?
Hey, my name is Ben, and this is a question for Nick. What was it like going back to the Halloween franchise 40 years later for the David Gordon Green trilogy, and what was it like on set, and were you like mentoring James Jude Courtney with his performance in any way, and what was that experience like?
Oh, well, I was, and there was no plan on me being part of the new franchise. I heard that there was that John had gotten on board as executive producer and possibly composer at the time. I didn't know anything about David Gordon Green, the director. And then my agent, same Sean Clark that I just spoke about, he was called by, I think, the production company. They were looking for for a Michael. And they said he had to be, 40 years older. He had to be a certain height. And did he know anybody? And said, yeah, I know somebody. The guy, what about the guy that actually did it 40 years ago and is the same height and the same guy? Well, they didn't count on me getting bigger this way, but so he, they said, well, would he do it? And I said, and he called me up. He said, well, are you interested in that? And I said, I'll talk to the director. But I very quickly realized that there was, I'm at the time, this is 6 years ago. I was still 72 or 70, 71 at the time. And not the best shape, get it, for the role. And I thought, no, they'd be much better off with somebody that's more durable. And I said, but, maybe we do a cameo or something. And David loved that idea so that I could be part of it and use it as a way to endorse the project, because I did like the script. So that's how I got involved. And no, by the time I got on the set, it was a couple weeks into shooting, and Jim Courtney, who did, I think, a great job on the new ones, had already gotten, looked at the old movie, gotten a sense of that, and was well on his way to, kill.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hey, what's your name?
Hello, my name is Dylan, and in my opinion, the '78 Halloween is probably one of the greatest horror films of all time. But did you guys have the pleasure of working with the late Donald Pleasance or Jamie Lee Curtis, and what was that experience like on set?
I unfortunately did not get to work with either of them. I did meet Jamie Lee at the day that I was there, and she was very nice to me. But unfortunately, I didn't. I really wish I had, though. He's amazing. They're both amazing.
Right. As for Donald, most of the scenes with Donald were independent of the shape, except for the very end at the very beginning. And Donald, as much as I knew, for the first movie, you imagine he's a big European star and a Hollywood star. Been in so many great movies with great directors, and I'm sure this was a kind of like a payday for him, or he thought it was just a payday. So, he kind of kept to himself, wasn't, disagreeable, but, he was an older guy, and we're kids running around doing a silly movie. So it wasn't much of a contact there, but with Jamie, I had a great time. She was first movie, 19 years old. Got had lunch with her every day, with her and the cast, and we got to play off some stuff of obviously chasing. As much as I chase, I walk fast. I guess. Her and we had fun with that. We did have a blast in the new one. When I came back on 2018, we saw each other. It was a great moment. It should have been shot in slow motion. We saw each other across the set, and we ran towards each other, and screaming, "What the hell?" And we had a great time. But you can imagine 40 years later coming back, reprising those roles again, after it had been such an important part of our lives. It was fun.
Thank you both.
Hey,
Little one.
thank you for doing that. Thank you. Hey, what's your name?
My name's Audrey. My question is, what was your favorite part of the movie?
Well, if we're talking about the shooting of the movie, my favorite part was upstairs because it was very scary, and the stairs would like creak because it was an old house, and I kept thinking as they were coming up those stairs, they're coming to kill me. So that was interesting and creepy. The movie itself, I think my favorite is probably when Bob gets nailed to the wall.
Yeah, I don't like Bob either. Yeah. Never liked that guy. No, that was a great sequence in between that and then going back up to kill Laura, what's her name? Linda, with the phone cord, you know, that and going off the sheet. That whole little sequence was pretty much fun. The least favorite of mine is the beginning. You remember when he escapes from the insane asylum and he jumps on top of the car? That was me, without a mask, with only they put me just in one of those hospital gowns, you know, a little flimsy thing in my underwear, and I didn't know this at the time, but it was 4 in the morning. It was cold. It was L.A., but you know, L.A. can get cold, and John said, "Okay, we're going to roll it now, Nick. Are you ready? You're going to have to jump on the top." Yeah, fine, I'll do it. Okay, roll the cameras. Start the rain. And I had, what does that mean? And suddenly they had hoses off the side of the set, and it came down, and it was like icicles hitting my body. It was one of the most uncomfortable moments in my life, which shows you how good a life I've had. But not too bad. But that I could have done without. Then the next thing John said after I'm freezing under a blanket, he said, "Okay, let's do take 2."
Oh, no.
Hey, what's your name?
Story.
What's your question?
I like the Ghostface and Michael kill like 2 people at once.
You want him to, or you saw it?
Only 2.
Okay, I'm going to start with you first, though.
Only
No.
1 Ghostface and 2 and 1, 2 and just 2.
2 for 1.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
we're going to get together and write the script.
You're talking to the right guy. He writes scripts right there. Perfect. Thank you for your question.
But
And you look really cool, too. What's your name? As we're readjusting the microphone.
There we go. My name's Andrew. And if they were to reboot the franchise again, where would you think they'd take off from? The Thorn trilogy or the Rob Zombie trilogy? Or 2?
Well, they are going to reboot it somehow. And like I said, I think they're thinking of it as a TV series first, or maybe a few specials, and then go back into a movie. But they have some grand plan that I'm not aware of. Where I would take it, you know, I've never just sat down and thought, where does this need to go now? Well, on some of them, they're going to have to explain how Michael Myers gets out of a wood chipper and continues on his merry way. I thought of a few things. There's the DNA part of this that we know can be revived on some science fiction-y kind of version of this story. And there's the wrong person got thrown in that we've seen in, I think, some of the earlier episodes that got around the logic of him dying. And then there's the going back into the past. I have heard people talk about, escapes from the insane asylum between the ages of whatever it was. How old was he? 10 and 20. So we'll see what they come up with. It will be neat. I just hope that John will be a part of that. So I have faith that John will kind of steer them in the right direction.
Thank you.
Hey, what's your name?
My name is Dan. This question or comment is for Nick. Thank you for 40 years of enjoyment of The Last Starfighter. And I just wondered if you had any comment or ever thoughts ever of a sequel to that, way back or recent thoughts on that. Thank you.
Well, first of all, thank you. Yeah, I didn't write, I directed a movie called The Last Starfighter. It was out in '84. And if you think of what this year is, it's the 40th anniversary of this movie. So those of you that have liked it and over the past 40 years, a lot of folks have come up now and asked me to sign that poster and gave some love for that project, which I had a lot to do with, obviously, as a director. I didn't act in it or anything like that. And as fate would have it, the original writer has gotten the rights back to the picture. There was always some talk about doing a sequel, and there was always some conflict with the rights, like what studio owned it, who owned this and that, and who could do a sequel. Oh, it's a pain in the ass. But now he has it back, and the two of us are collaborating on that, and a studio is interested, so we'll see what happens. It probably won't be this year or next year, but hopefully we'll have a 40-year afterwards sequel. I know that's the direction we're going in, where the lead characters would be back and be the parents of a new generation. So we hope. It is probably the last 80s movie that has not been mined for doing a sequel. So we'll see how we do with it.
Great news. Thank you.
Hi. My name's Isaac. I was wondering, why do you think they haven't made a Michael Myers versus Jason movie yet?
I think the Michael side isn't interested.
Yeah.
I think they would. I think they think it's a gimmick, so and once you go down that road, and this isn't to say the other stuff they've tried isn't fun, but that it may cheapen the franchise as much as you can cheapen a B horror film. But so I think that's the answer. I may be wrong, but that's the impression I get.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Hi there. My name is Betsy, and growing up, Halloween was a huge tradition in my household. I have 5 older brothers, and I'm the youngest and only girl, so I probably started watching Halloween when I was about 5 years old, so it was pretty scary for me. But I just wanted to ask both of you, what was, when you were younger and a kid, what was a memorable moment or a celebration that you had during Halloween or sometime during like the fall season?
I think for me, it was my older sisters just taking me trick-or-treating. I remember that so well, and they would take both of my hands and lift me up over the curbs and go up to the houses, and there was candy and scary houses back then. They really went all out to really scare you. And so I think those memories of my sisters taking me trick-or-treating is probably the highlight for me.
Yeah, I mean, I had some really close neighbor friends that had a family that had the same age group as me, so we would go out together. The only thing I remember the most, though, is the costume. Back then, I don't know, it was very politically incorrect. My mother had got a cork and burned the tip of it and made it look like I had a beard on, by rubbing it on my thing, and then put on some old floppy hat and some old clothes and said, "Here, you're a bum. Go out." I don't think you're supposed to say that. Now you're a homeless person, whatever that is. So, and that's how I ran around trick-or-treating, and of course the highlight was eating all the candy.
Thank you.
I do have one more memory that sticks with me when you said that. It used to be you would go to school in costume, and my sisters always made my costumes. Well, this one year they made this big pumpkin thing for me, and they used a pair of my underwear for the bottom part. And then they put tights on me. Well, when we got to school and we were doing the parade, everybody starts shouting, "Look, she's in her underwear." And so I was walking around the whole school with everyone going, "Look, Sandy's in her underwear." That was the last time I let my sisters make my costume.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Hi.
Say hi. Say hi. Say hello. Hi, I'm Amanda. This is Mia. My question is, with the huge fan base surrounding Halloween, have either of you ever had any crazy fan interactions that almost scared you, or just any memorable fan interactions?
There was a guy in California, it was H40, I think, that was standing very close to me for a long time, and the knife that he was holding looked incredibly real. And my husband and agent were getting a little bit concerned about it. So I remember that day. Yeah, that was pretty scary.
No. Hey, Mia. Hi. I've never had someone that I felt was threatening. There's a lot of people that have some issues that still enjoy the movie and have a passion for it that is maybe beyond the passion of you fans, most of you fans. But you know, the things that I get struck by, whether it's Halloween or some of my other movies, are the interrelationships between generations that enjoy the movie, that sit down with a family, maybe 1, 2, 3 generations, that have fun with it, and they have fun when you have your new family to introduce them into the worlds into these worlds that you wound up enjoying through the magic of film, and that's pretty special, I think. So that makes me feel good that the tight knitness of something like this can create a bond in a family.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mia.
So cute.
All right, these are going to be our final 2 questions. Go ahead.
Which Michael Myers do you think you would be able to outrun? Well, survive. The kid Michael Myers or the human? I mean, the adult Michael Myers.
Well, I think that question is answered for me.
That little kid was pretty bad. Yeah. He was a terror. So yeah, I'd go with the young Michael Myers because if you think about the older one, the one that I played, he was pretty playful. He had a lot of humor. I don't remember the little one like having any humor.
Great question. What was your name?
Jonah.
Jonah. Thank you, Jonah. All right. Our final question. What's your name?
I'm Derek. What is your favorite Michael Myers kill, either from the 78 film or any of the other films?
You've heard it before. It's Bob. we hate that guy. That's my favorite. I just thought it was the most interesting, and it had little bits and pieces that John, I thought, made special. The way he comes out of the shadows to attack him, the tilting of the head once he's pinned to the wall. A lot of cool little things going on there. So that was my favorite.
Yep, mine too.
Thank you.
Nate.
Well, before we do wrap it up, if it's okay with both of you guys, we're going to bring out our official photographer. We're going to take a big group picture with everybody.
Good deal.
So if you guys want to come to the stage, just not on the stage.